Well, I imagine you should be over at WatchThatDukes.com right now. It is my pleasure to be joined by someone you're all familiar with, former Redskins running back, Super Bowl MVP, Pro Football Hall of Famer, Mr. John Riggins, live in studio. Riggo, an honor, sir. Great to see you. Thank you for coming in.
It's my pleasure to be here, Chad. Thanks for having me. I'm just kind of getting caught up to speed with everything that's going on. We talked a couple of weeks ago when we announced that I was going to be on with you on Mondays and Fridays. So I'm just kind of getting back into things. I was a little bit nervous, actually, before I came down, but now that I'm in here and we're kind of catching up a little bit, I'm calming down.
You being nervous to come in here and do radio with me is hilarious, sir.
Hey, listen, anytime the airwaves, you're on air, you know, it's just that.
It's fun. You get that
thing.
tingle, right?
Yeah, you got to have it. It's like you, Paul Sorvino, you know who that is, the actor?
Of course.
Well, I used to study acting up in New York with Bill Esper, who was one of Paul Sorvino's coaches once upon a time. So Paul, I met him at a deal when remember when they did the deal on Nixon?
Sure.
And I think Anthony Hopkins played Nixon.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nixon, and Paul Sorvino, I think he played Henry Kissinger, if I'm not mistaken. So we're
Sounds
at
right.
where they showed the movie, and so we're coming out of it, and Paul, he pulls me aside and he goes, "So John, you're going to be an actor?" And I go, "Well, I don't know, maybe." He says, and Paul looked at me and he goes, "Do you feel it? Do you feel it?" And I'm going, I don't know what the hell he's talking about. But I'm like, yeah, I feel it.
Oh, I got it.
But the point I'm trying to make is when you do this stuff, a lot of times when you get on stage, wherever it is, you get a rush. And I got to believe that's what Paul was talking about. Do you feel it?
It is.
I was feeling it before I came in
That
here.
is
So,
excellent.
You know, that's what performers do, I guess.
I'm sure it's cliche at this point, but when Sorvino gets and he's in Goodfellas and he's just gotten out of prison and he grabs Ray Liotta in the back and he's saying, "I don't need drugs in my life," and he smacks him in the face. I'm like, in that moment, I'm like, Paul Sorvino is Paulie. Like, Paul Sorvino is a gangster in that picture. That's feeling it when you can kind of evoke that emotion out of a character. And when I can, I've watched that movie 100 times. I still feel that way watching that.
I know, it's a great film. And the other part, he had a restaurant up there. Then he had an opening. I got invited to it, and I was there. It was like opening night, and so I'm up there at his restaurant. And of course, they have the chef back there and all that. And because of the movie, I said, "Paul, did you do the garlic tonight?" Because remember, he had that
with the razor blade. Yeah,
right.
absolutely.
Exactly.
Riggo, what do I do about these millennials I work with that haven't seen Goodfellas? They tell me these things. They hurt my heart. I don't know what to do.
Well, my wife told me last night, for whatever, they showed something up there and said, it was Humphrey Bogart and Catherine
Hepburn.
No, it wasn't Hepburn. It was what's her name, Ingrid Bergman.
Oh,
and it was Casablanca. And my wife goes, I've never seen that movie. So,
man, usually
she's young. She's not a millennial, but she's a little older.
I understand
a little older.
Yeah, but a little younger.
Not a whole lot, but a little bit.
Usually it's the wife trying to get the husband to watch Casablanca. That's the way that it worked with me.
Yeah, that would make sense. But see, my wife isn't into older movies per se. I mean, when we talk about, she's more contemporary. When it goes black and white, my wife loses interest. She has to go out someplace, do some shopping so I can watch John Wayne and Randolph Scott and all those really good films.
I'm a Rooster Cogburn man myself.
Yeah,
so
he was good.
We're chewing a lot of the same dirt. Let's talk a little bit about the game last night, if you
do.
don't
We
mind.
have to? No, I mean, actually, let me say this, Chad. No. Let's not go down the road right out of the block. But
it's a long season,
well,
John.
I got to say this, as I was, I kind of hinted this 2 weeks ago when we spoke, that, it's kind of one of those situations, and I'm wondering how the fans are right now. How do they feel about it? Because, first of all, I haven't followed a lot in the last couple of years because I've been doing other things. And so, it comes on, and you're kind of like, okay, it's preseason. Or keep in mind, I played in the league for 14 years,
Sure.
preseason. Come on. Ain't going to raise the hair on the back of my neck. But at the same time, there's a little bit of curiosity there. But you see how, it seems like they're just really pumping it. At least that's the way I felt. And I'm going, I'm thinking if you're a fan and you apply logic to your life, you got to look at this and kind of go, guys, let's just slow down here and just take it, one play at a time. And from that perspective, so it was a little bit kind of, it was kind of blah, to be honest with you.
Absolutely.
But let me say this. I didn't see anything that, that brought me out of my chair and, I was, punching the air or anything, but I didn't see anything that made me cry either. Two things that I saw last night, interestingly enough, that I went, okay, that was worth watching. One, it wasn't a good thing. It was on the first drive that the Browns had offensively. I guess that makes sense. First drive would have been offense. See, I've been away for a while. Anyway, they complete a pass. The receiver beats the DB for Washington, and I noticed that so the DB he recovers and he starts in hot pursuit, but then he sees a little something coming from the left and he just pulls up,
Pulls off.
Didn't like that.
Okay.
I don't know who it was. I didn't take a number down, so I don't really care. That guy may be here, may not be here. Who cares? But I went, not
more the mentality.
Yeah, a little bit. It's like, you got to sell out here on this stuff. I mean, I know it's preseason, but, I played for 14 years. I can look at it this way. You're trying to make this team, I'm thinking, it wasn't Darryl Green. If it was Darryl Green, I'm going, all right, I get that. But I don't think that was Darryl Green I was looking at. And the other play, and this is pretty important, really, was the big guy, the running back. He made a heck of a play, I thought, on that little one run on a short, I think it was a short
Morris?
yard. No, the other guy. The new guy, Matt, is it Williams? No, it's not Matt Williams.
It's Matt Jones.
Matt Jones.
Did he have the dreadlocks coming out of the back of the helmet?
I don't remember the dreadlocks, but he weighs about, he's the big guy, 230 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
He made a heck of a play. He spins around and ends up picking up. I thought, all right.
He's a load.
Yeah. Alfred better make sure he's not late to meetings. I'm not, Alfred's the running back, don't get me wrong, but this guy could come on and start to get a bigger and bigger role as things go on. You never know, because that was an unusual play, I thought. It was good to see.
That's why they drafted him, and they're high on him. And
I think they should be.
There's comparisons made to Marshawn Lynch. What do you make of the back by committee and how prevalent it has come in the game? Do you like that?
Nowadays, I suppose, Chad, they can do that just because I think it's such a pass-centric game that everybody wants to throw the ball. I mean, basically running backs are fungible to a certain extent. And, in the old days, you had a guy, and he was your guy. You had Emmitt Smith. You gave Emmitt Smith and Walter Payton. You gave him the ball, and you didn't look back. They were going to carry the ball 20, 25 times a game. Nowadays, the running back, what's he going to get? Depending. And I think Washington may be different this year because I think that Alfred Morris will, and you kind of got that feel last night that they're probably going to feed him the ball a little bit more if they can. A lot of things you never know, though, because, like everything else, you have your plans, and then you have to board them, and you have to basically kind of do it a cappella.
You said something right at the beginning that I think holds a lot of water, and that is, let's slow it down here. Let's take it play by play, and that's good advice for the fan base because my phone lines have been full all day. It's an exhibition game. At the end of the day, it doesn't mean much. But do you think that should also apply to Gruden and all these coaches? They spend all this money and bringing all these coordinators in there, and there's this extreme sense of urgency, and everybody really seems to be feeling a lot of pressure, and everyone's job is on the line. Do they need to take a deep breath and kind of slow everything down and realize this is a good time for us to just evaluate and just develop these guys? We don't need to be, for lack of a better term, freaking out at this juncture?
I would think so. Yeah, I mean, there's a couple ways you look at it, and I don't want people for them to take this the wrong way, but hey, it's a game. It's only football. And when I say that, I mean, if you're making this the most important thing in your life, you're probably going to burn yourself up or out or whatever it is. It's like you just got to make sure what I told you a couple of weeks ago. You got to be doing your job constantly. Yeah. That's really what it gets down to. And I don't think you have to be pins and needles to do that. I think that, you got to know when to pick your spot. Years ago, I used to hang out down in Quantico, a little bit down there at the sniper school. And Dave Willis, he was the commandant of the sniper school down there. And Dave told me, he said, we get these guys in here, and they'll come in here, and they're in here for, I forget how long it was, 16 weeks. I can't remember exactly. But they come in, and we keep them up till midnight. They're up at 4 a.m. And that goes, I think it's 8 weeks, and that goes on for 8 weeks nonstop. It's 4 hours of sleep. He said the guys that really know what's going on are the guys that get through this and they actually graduate, are the guys that know that moment when it's time to shut down. And you catch your nap here, wherever, and it's just instinctual. You know when to do that. And that's kind of where this team is right now. I mean, there should be pressure on them because they haven't played well for millenniums, whatever. And so they certainly got to have a sense of urgency. At the same time, there's probably a way of going about doing it where you don't run yourself ragged, and then you don't have anything left when it's actually time to do that. And you saw what you saw last night. I thought Gruden, he played everybody to get the looks that they need, and that's really all this really truly is an audition. I wonder sometimes why people go to these exhibition games because really these guys, and they are together so much, it fascinates me. It's almost like all-star games. You get those, especially when you get into the second half because you got a bunch of young guys, from this college, that college, this free agent, and you throw them together, and they do a remarkably good job actually out there as a team. You would think it takes a little continuity and staying together for a while, but for the most part, they hung together.
Rigo, I hope you know how interesting you are, where you can just tell just a side story. Is when I was hanging out at the sniper school. Were you attending the sniper school? Were you
No.
What were you doing?
I was friendly with some of the guys down there. These are not the what was his name? Chris. I'm reading his book too.
Chris Kyle.
Chris Kyle.
Yeah.
But I always looked at, it's like, what is really funny, because you were talking about snipers. I mean, the Carlos Hathcock, in my mind, will always be the sniper. He was the guy in Vietnam. I mean, you read his book, and I met Carlos when I was down there. He's deceased now. But it was like for Chris Kyle, kind of was like shooting fish in a barrel.
Sure.
I mean, Carlos Hathcock had to go in the jungle and hang out and wait, and, with the taipans, or what are they, the snakes they had, and all this. Yeah, I mean, it was point being is like the guys that, you get nowadays where you have where somebody sets a record, and you look back on the guys that 40 years ago, and you go, wow. But you go, well, it's a different game.
Yeah.
So the whole thing, it's
What were you shooting down there?
What's that? I didn't really ever shoot. I was down
Really?
there. They actually let me come in and do a little work on a couple of guns I had.
Oh, that's awesome.
I was glass bedding a couple of rifles down there, which I forgot everything they taught me. That's why the Marines wouldn't have me.
Happens to the best.
That's why I was a running back. You see, I was telling somebody earlier today, they got all these
That's
formations.
why you were running back?
Yeah, because of all the positions on a football field, that's the one position, I'm going to guess, unless you're a kicker or a punter, that you really don't need to know a whole hell of a lot. I mean, the formation didn't mean anything to me. I remember I told this to Norv Turner, and he just rolled his eyes when he was a coach here. And I never did. Coach Gibbs never did know this, but why did I need to know if we were in, jump right, motion this and whatever? I was like, hey, look, am I getting the ball? And if I am, I'm guessing it's going to be over here. And if it is, then I'll take it from there. Okay, that's all you got to do. Joe, give me the ball right here, about 5 yards deep, and we're good.
And we're good. I'll
We're
take
good.
care of the rest. Boy.
Yeah, the boys up front, the Hogs, they'll do something. I got Grimy, and I got Jake and Bosco and Dutch, and they'll do something for me, and I'll find it, and we'll be good.
Those guys will probably do a good job for you, from what I recall.
Speaking of lines, I thought, it's very early, but I thought, the line last night didn't look too bad.
Too. Let's get into
considering they're playing the Browns, it's preseason, things can change quickly. But hey, like I said, it was better than a poke in the eye.
Will you hang around for another segment?
What's that?
Will you hang around for another
Actually,
segment?
I got to run.
You do?
I'd like to, but yeah, I got my daughter with me,
All right, fair enough.
and I've got a little parking thing I got to attend to.
I understand
I don't
that.
want to have to go deep into my pocket. But I would love to stay for another.
Well, let's. How about this? Let's do it again on Mondays and Fridays during the season.
We're going to do it again.
What do you think? Does that sound good?
I think so.
Let's follow the gentleman on Twitter at Rigo44, and he's going to be right here on Shadukes versus the World, and then be hosting the John Riggins show Mondays with Grant Paulson at 6:00. So we're going to get a lot of John Riggins this season.
Yeah, you will, more than you want, probably. The Twitter, I almost started doing a live Twitter last night, and then I realized I forgot how to do that too. So it's like I can't glass bed a gun anymore, and I forgot how to Twitter. But I can learn to Twitter. The glass bed and a gun probably is beyond my scope right now.
We could probably get you somebody to have your phone remember your password on your Twitter, so you don't have to worry about that.
I got to get the guy that set it up to begin with, but I will get on that.
We'll get on that too.
Chad, good seeing you.
Great seeing you. John Riggins, everybody. Chad Dukes versus the World.